You could have chosen.
A fighting fury, we're from Tigerland. In any weather you will see us with a grin, risking head and skin. If we're behind, then never mind, we'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never weak until the final siren's gone.
Welcome to Team Selection Night, folks. It's Wednesday night with Tiggs. That last little image makes me laugh every time because you know it's coming and you abuse me beforehand every time. I've still not changed it.
Every show, guys, I curse him out about the uni, and he's promised me on hands and knees he would change it. Like, seriously, you've got millions of pictures of me and you choose uni. I
rolled with that one. Rolled with it. Yeah. How hot is your coffee, by the way? I can see the smoke just steaming up. That is boiling hot.
A real as a black hot coffee, mate. So that's
that is piping hot. Well, welcome everybody from wherever you are around the world. I hope you're all having a wonderful start to the week. Before there's going to be some interesting selections. We've got some interesting opposites, I guess.
Yep.
I won't give away what we've both done.
That's right.
But before we get stuck into that, we'll chat about the Essendon game quickly. Nice to come off a win, albeit it was not the prettiest game to watch for 3 quarters. But we'll take the 4 points, Tiggs. At this stage of our development, Uzo said it best, the wins are as important as they ever will be at this point in time. So, look, it feels somewhat rhetorical, but what did you make of the game?
Yeah, look, first of all, before I start, shout out to your forward line analysis. That was pretty spot on. So if you haven't watched it, guys, go watch his episode. It was actually pretty good. As to my thoughts on the game, well, first of all, shame on you, Brad. Shame on you, mate. How do you go into a game and you play 2 behind the ball the entire game? It's like
he gets 17th on the ladder. Jesus.
Oh, yeah. He just looked in and he goes, we can't match him. So let's just flood, right? In saying that, if we purposely wanted to play the worst forward half game, we couldn't have gotten as better result as we did on the weekend. It was haphazard. It was no system. No even real direct movement, rarely direct movement. Forwards just didn't work together. They all work like individuals. And I think that's a lot of the problems that we've got at the moment, that, they're young and they're new, but they all work as individuals. And it shows how disjointed our forward line is, because once they start to synergize as a team, then it's going to start to click. So I give Newman a pass on that. I think Jesus himself couldn't have parted the waters and allowed the ball to flow freely through to their forwards. But look, there's bright, there's bright sparks everywhere. Like, obviously, I'm going to gush about Hotton, but I don't want to do it yet. I want to hold that. Let it stay in the loins for a little bit longer. But our kids showed something. They would have learned a lot from that game.
Yeah, definitely.
You actually had an opposition play you like you're a dead set certainty to win, and they didn't handle it.
The first quarter, we actually had some really good passages of ball movement per the video I did post, but we just didn't make the right decisions upon the 450 entry. That'll improve over time and with the more experienced forward line, I've got no doubt.
Yeah.
But it was like taking the 450 entry bit aside, despite it being the most important part of the whole process, it was nice to see the change of possession linking up, the fast ball movement. Like, we looked, and EJ bangs on about this all the time, and he's dead on. We look so much better when we make the decision quickly and just pull the trigger and do it. Whatever it is, just if we're going to go sideways, we're going to do an overlap handball, just do it and go. Like, play instinctively, and we don't let teams set up as much behind the ball. So that was good to see.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I said on Wednesday last week on the back of Rioli's best game, and I said, look, the only real major worry, huge red flag I have, he can't back it up. I've never seen him play a consistent month of footy. He might have a game bad, maybe an okay game, and then another bad. And I was really disappointed in him. This was the game where his speed, his carry that he showed the week prior, it was there for him, and he didn't take it. But the lad that did take it, that backed up his game from the week prior, was Mansell. He was aggressive. He was going up the ground. He was providing a contest at the ball. He was then getting the ball in quick. I was really wrapped with his game as well.
What about Tyler Young? First game back in the AFL system for a while. Played a few VFL games, of course, on the back from the knee injury.
Yeah,
I really liked him.
Me too. I don't know why people shit on him. It's probably because he's got the well, look, people shit on Ashbury when he first started too, if you remember. He's not a forward, so we got him out of the forward line, and because he's not those sexy type, running, dashing, great intercept. He's just a lockdown. You won't be able to breathe while I'm on you for defender. And
which is what you need. Like,
you need it. You need it. And
he's actually, I reckon he's picked up a yard of pace too. Like, he seems to back his run a little bit more now. His disposal seemed okay. I think he went at 95%, which is very good on anyone's watch. So hopefully he can back that up again this week. It'd be nice.
And the main thing about him that sets him apart of even our experienced defenders. Floston, you can't speak any highly more than him, but he's probably one weakness as he's brought. They're not disciplined 100% of a game, if that makes sense. They're disciplined players, but they can, because they're good players, they want to be proactive. So they, want to take risks. Young is disciplined. He has a task and he will stay on that task regardless of what else is happening in the game.
Yeah, it's like he knows his limitations. Like he knows he's not the run and carry, sexy disposal footballer. Like he understands his job and he just goes out there and does it, which is good. Yeah. The boys spoke about on Monday night and keen to get your thoughts. They were wrapped with the coaching move of putting Jack Ross onto Zach Merritt after halftime to curb his influence.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was wrapped. It was. I think we rotated off him a fair bit, but it was good. Look, Jack's a funny one for me. I'm probably a little bit harsher on him because I expect so much of him because I've seen a fair bit of him as a junior. But he had a good game. Yeah, he played on merit. He would have learnt a few things from that.
Because Merritt takes him to the ball.
That's right. So it was a good coaching move. But you let me know when we can talk about Hotton. Just let me. That for me was the game. We just saw. It was like when Dusty played his first game for me.
It was exciting, wasn't it? The footy IQ was on show. The quick hands, the willingness to compete. It was all there.
I think if you go right back when we did the draft, and I said I'm more excited about Hotton than I was about our first pick in Lawler.
Yeah.
And he showed why. See, the difference between him, they're both fantastic, going to be fantastic. It's great player. So I'm not disrespecting Lawler, but he is, to me, a better contested mark. But what he did when he took that mark, he knew the defender was coming as he was going for the ball. So he had the presence, the mind to turn his body. Yeah. So he could show his back to the ball, to the player coming at him. So if he had spilt that ball, he most likely would have got a free kick. Because that's the only way you could get that ball out of his mitts because he had to do something illegal. That you can't teach that. He's made that. Look what's about to happen, and he's all right. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. This is what I need to do. Most players can only think 1 or 2 steps ahead. He can think 3, 4, 5, and to have the composure then to when everyone else is missing, just to take his set shot and go for the and score that goal. All the while, mind you, if you had a look some of his vision on TV, he was blowing up. Like he was obviously it's a lot more faster than what he's used to.
He was cooked in the last bit.
He was cooked, but he the one that got falls his goal. He was in congestion.
He kept it on the boundary line.
Yeah, and he turned into the traffic, and the defenders and the midfielders were about to close in on him. So what he basically did is he sort of half semi-turned his body and did an underhand handball that didn't hit the ground, but actually went straight to Therese. And if you look at the vision, if you look at the vision, the Essendon player thought the ball went left when it actually went the other direction.
It was a bit of a look-away handball, I think. The way he did it, and that set up another goal. You can imagine, he only did that probably 1 or 2 times this game, right? But as he builds his tank and gets his confidence, we're going to see that 5, 6, 7, 8 times a game. And that's what wins you games. So, we've got a bona fide, if he stays healthy, bona fide match winner. And, match winner. Even not only what he did with the ball in hand, the other part that impressed me was when he dove across the ball when an Essendon player was about to pick it up and then slapped it through his legs and got it out to Morris Rioli. It's Uze, and I think even Jake Batchelor said it as well, that he does things that you just simply can't teach. You either know how to do it instinctively or you don't. And thankfully he does.
I love Joan Racing's. I love RSN instead of saying he tags his Edwards and Bolton. You know what he's like? His three players for me. He's got the brain of Cochin. You know, those little taps went under what he just showed. He's got the Edwards brilliance with his hands. Well, he's showing that. Hopefully he continues with it. And he's obviously got Bolton's aerial ability and be able to just go from a dead stop and move whatever angle he wants to move in to get going. And for me, he looks bigger than Bolton, even at such a young age. Like he's not wafer thin. You can tell he's going to put on size.
He definitely put on some muscle in the off-season whilst having to recover for sure.
Yeah, I reckon we got the best player of the draft. Hands down.
I agree. Hands down. And he only played, and as Peter said, he only played about 50, I think it's 56% game time.
That was good coaching.
Yeah. And, you know, the possessions will come, like he might play 65 this week, and we'll obviously see it develop and grow from there. But it was exciting to see him playing. Luke Traynor got a Rising Star nomination. Not that we be all and end all, but it's nice. It's a nice reward for his season-long effort. Wasn't necessarily his best game, but good to see him get rewarded nonetheless for a body of work.
Yeah, they did it basically because of his body of work. If they hadn't picked him, every Tiger supporter go, why don't Richmond players win awards? Why aren't Richmond players consistently All-Australian when they're, the top five of the position in the league? But yeah, they had to pick him. They had to pick a game to pick him, and they chose this game. I want to talk about Jonty Fall, right?
Yep.
Let's take his kicking out. Let's take his goal scoring, his kicking. But the amount of shots he's generating on goal, his ability to be agile, work up the ground, his lateral movement for his type of player that he is, he's a freak. He's an absolute freak. So when he gets that body to back up his talent, he's going to be insane. I wrote his name like 4 or 5 times in my book.
I think even, I know you said to not to disregard the shots at goal piece, but in a lot of ways, it's actually still impressive. I know he's missed his fair share, but to still generate 20 odd shots at goal in your first year as a key forward, often playing second key forward, sometimes even first key forward with Lynch being out. I know we had Cozzy there, but you just don't know what the team balance will be. Yeah, he's impressive. He's impressive. I mean,
he's playing on the best defenders. Like he's not getting brought in. Like if we had been in our 17 to 20 period and he was on the list, he probably would have been brought in and we'll take the fourth best defender. Yeah, and he would have that easy, good midfields kicking it intelligently towards him, and he would, be a lot better than what he is now. So to get those numbers in aside, we are. He's a freak. Yeah, he's an absolute freak.
His hands are starting to clunk him. I know you spoke about the goal earlier, but I'm really pumped for him that he kicked that goal because that was a tricky shot, right? But the confidence that he gets from that in a clutch moment, in a really important part of the game to ice it, hopefully that means he can roll on with it into the West Coast game this week because unfortunately for Jonty, he's taking a lot of shots from about 55. And I know it's low percentage, but the fact we've got someone in our team who can mark it at 50, have to go back to 55 and just back himself to make the distance. Like the distance will never, ever be an issue. They'll start to go through soon, and that's going to be a problem for other teams when that starts to happen.
Exactly. Now, I would love to play him as the Wayne Carey type of role, the true centre-half forward that basically goes up towards the centre square, takes whatever ball that comes in, and then uses his field kicking. Well, as a junior, his field kicking is actually quite good.
Yes.
To take his pressure off from actually kicking a goal. But, he's a great mark. Even this year he's shown he's a great mark. So he can run up, grab that mark, turn around because he hasn't got a huge arc. He's quite agile. He's freakishly agile. And then boot the ball into an intelligent position for a forward to mark. Spread the defence.
That's the one thing I've noticed with both him and Sims. And even Harry Armstrong showed it too, that all of them are actually good field kicks. And I'm feeling like it's a bit of just how the Coates League players are being developed now. Like they're all getting midfield time maybe when they're younger. So they're used to being distributors of the ball until they shoot up and have to play a key position, essentially. But I do love the fact that we've actually picked up 3 key forwards who can actually pass the ball equally as good.
Yeah. You mentioned Sims. I think the kid needs a rest. I think he's had a nice chunk of games. I think he just needs a rest and be a number 1 ruck in the VFL for a while and dominate. Regain, because some of his efforts, you can understand he was probably blown up. He could not even get his the running the legs are gone. But we're talking some of his first quarter efforts, his second quarter efforts were quite disappointing. Like he just couldn't get to the contest after doing one. His second efforts were basically non-existent. So I reckon, and that's not a knock on him. That's probably he's probably just mentally burnt out. So I just hope we give him a bit of a rest and get Armstrong in and give him a bit of a crack.
Well, he's an interesting one. We'll get into the changes now.
Yep.
You may want to change your mind on the fly, and that's okay. But
no, I'm not going to change my mind
today. No. You're happy to go in unchanged for this week.
I'll explain why. We've got a couple of young kids that have just come off injury, right? So I'm a big believer, instead of putting them unless they're a bona fide superstar or a player that's had 4 or 5 preseasons already under their belt, it's just dumb putting them straight into the seniors. They'll get an injury, they can break down. I like them to have 1 or 2 games in the VFL, because that for me is what it's there. I've kept Rioli in the side because I really believe what I saw in that 3 weeks with him playing higher up the ground, more in the midfield, and the synergy that he had with Hotton.
They work well together.
Yeah, I'm hoping, all right, I've seen a great game. I've seen a shit one. Now show me another good one, And I'm hoping, so that's why I kept him on the side. Outside of that, everyone did their role. The only change of mine I'd probably do is get Trezise, put him, and don't scream at me, but I'd put him in and Camden as the sub. Sorry, that's what I had forgotten to do. Okay. Because Trezise, when he came on, he actually did really well for the limited game time. Yeah, for the limited game time he had. So that's the only change I want. But I want to see these. And look, the Swansea hate, not much we can do about it. He's sort of been put in that box because of the position he plays. But again, his disposal efficiency, I forgot to write it down. What was the top of your head, his disposal efficiency that game? It was quite good, but he did do some really poor things. Like, I'm not shying away from it. But look, I'd keep him in because we don't have many in years. He's a very neat kick. So we need to keep that. It's
one of those tough ones, isn't it? Because we struggle with hitting targets typically. Yeah. And he's one who does do it more often than not.
That's right.
He does miss a couple. All of them miss a couple, so I'm not going to hang him for it. But it's like for the amount of times he maybe bails out of a contest, he might hit 2 or 3 more targets than other players, which it's like, which one do we value more? I mean, there comes a point in time where you've got to do all of it together at the same time. If he's not,
that's right,
then he won't find himself playing. But at the moment, until such time as someone else is forcing him out, then I don't mind keeping the guys who can kick the footy still in.
And look, I kept Cozzy in. That's the other one. Like, he had horrendous. I think he had the worst game I've ever seen of a forward I've ever seen in my life. Right, and I've seen really bad forwards. He's probably the only guy I've ever seen fumble a mark and then falcon himself in the same action. Right, that was insane. I never saw it. And it was funny. Like, I was trying to be nice to him, and I'm tweeting. He took this fantastic mark in the forward line. So I'm tweeting, I was going to call Cozzy a spud, but he took this great mark. And straight after I was back, before he sent, he handballs it to Sims, who's celebrating. Right, was not ready for the ball to come in, and we don't convert. I think he's done. I think he's done as a senior player.
I know my changes won't reflect what I'm about to say, but I know Cozzy had a couple of brain fades. But those aside, he competed really hard. There was a lot of contests he busted his ass to get to bring it to ground. And for me, that's all I was expecting of him to do. Like, we all know that him being in there is a short-term fix. Like, it's not the long-term play. But the Falcon one was funny. And the Sims one, the only thing I could try and put that down to, I reckon he thought he was going to get put on the boundary line and didn't back himself to kick it. But if it's the ruckman running past, don't handball it. If it was, if that was to Seth Campbell, that was a goal. But wrong option at the wrong time, unfortunately, there for Cozzy. Yeah,
Peter Popper's comment is exactly what was my thought process out of all this. Yeah, exactly right. So that's why. And look, it gives Cozzy another chance to redeem himself.
And that's why maybe he's better for the run. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see how he goes. And Rioli gives him a chance. Look, I'm getting very close. I think it kills my Richmond heart. Because I love Morris. He was my favourite player growing up. Absolute favourite. him and Reigns, to be honest, and Roach, all right? Those three. But he's getting very close for me to put him on the market to trade. Right?
Really?
Yeah, and it breaks my heart saying it because you will get WA clubs that will jump over the hoops to get him because of his potential. And maybe that's what he needs. Maybe to play near family.
Yeah, I'm backing him in
know.
long term. I want to see this Rioli Hotton combination blossom.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Give it for the rest of the year, but yeah, it's there's too many negatives to his positives at the moment, and he's long enough now in the system where it shouldn't be like that. There should be some negatives, but his positives outweigh it. Yeah, but again, maybe I'm too harsh because I know he's got talent.
Yeah,
but,
it does.
Yeah, it's just and that wouldn't feel the same for me not having a Rioli on the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, footy's footy. So.
All right, I've got 3 changes to a winning side, and some of these may not be popular. One of them is a fairly left field, but I'll talk us through it. So I've got out Sonzi, Sims, and Kazitsky, and in I've got Trezise head starting on the ground, Jasper Elger to come in. I've got Harry Armstrong coming in, and I've got Oliver Hayes-Brown coming in. So I'll talk through them quickly to try and give the rationale behind it. So James Trezise going to the wing seems a no-brainer. He had a huge quarter when he came on as sub in the last quarter, so that one makes complete sense. Harry Armstrong, I know there's going to be a really large portion of people that aren't for this. Now, I'll be up front. I don't personally necessarily like or agree that we'll play him, but the only reason why I've got him there, if you read the tea leaves and the tweet that Richmond put out, I would be gobsmacked if he's not playing with the tweet they put out today. And my thought is, if he's ticked all the boxes fitness wise, and I've read 2 different training reports saying he smashed training today and trained the house down, which is good. The question then becomes, does he offer more in the same position as Cozzy? And the answer is probably yes. Plus it gets some development in there as well. So you do it. And I know people will say it's 15 weeks off and you don't put him on a plane. I understand it, but he's not just sat there still for 15 weeks doing nothing, right? Like he's been doing a lot of training, a lot of workload. So I'm not at all scared about the flight. The other green one, folks, was Trezise coming onto the field. That's all. And Oliver Hayes-Brown, let me bring up, I've got stats. There's a reason why I put this post. So Hayes-Brown, 208 centimetres, 25 years old. His last 3 games, 17 disposals, 2 marks, 1 tackle, 33 hit-outs, 10 clearances against Braden Crossley, who's one of the best ruckmen in the VFL. Against Geelong, 11 disposals, 1 tackle, 30 hit-outs, 3 clearances. And against the Bull Ants, albeit a slightly lesser opponent, 26 disposals, 1 goal, 3 marks, 2 tackles, 36 hit-outs, 10 clearances. Now, as much as I love Sims and what he's going to be in the future, his statistical output has not been very good for the last month. And I just think that we are not getting anything less by putting Hayes-Brown in, but we're actually getting about 8 or 10 centimetres more in height and someone who will be able to compete better in the ruck. So to look at the West Coast ruckman, they've got 2 very inexperienced ruckmen playing. They've got Flynn, who's 202 centimetres as a 27-year-old. So Hayes-Brown is taller than him. And Williams, who is 201 centimetres tall, so Hayes-Brown's taller than him as well. So that's my rationale for bringing Hayes-Brown. He's actually got the form line in the VFL. He's got confidence, he's training well, he's playing well, and it's against an opponent without very strong rucks or a strong backup ruck. So he's actually going to be able to compete well at that level. And I just don't think he's going to offer less than Sims. I think he'll offer the same, if not more. And it's worth a go to try and get an advantage in the ruck area. And Jasper Elger, because I just think he will play that half-forward role better than what Sonzi will. So that's the rationale for the changes. And Hayes-Brown can play forward too. I think I would roll the dice. It's probably the game to do it, because if there's other games later in the year when we're playing top 4 teams or top 6 teams, whatever it might be, I don't think you can play him in those types of games. I think that's too dangerous. But pound for pound, I think he matches up well as the backup ruckman and then can go forward and do whatever.
I agree. No, that's good. I'd love for him to get picked. I just don't think, look, actually, you might be right. Look, Armstrong for me is the risk, and I hope the club, unless obviously they know more than us, but I would give him 1 week in the VFL to get his run under his legs. There's a lot of difference between training form and match form. You know,
and it would be interesting if there was VFL on this week. That's the kicker, because there's no VFL.
Yeah.
So the fact that they had put out a tweet saying who's looking forward to Harry Armstrong playing football, I'm like, well, there's only one type of football he can play this week, and it's over in Perth.
But we need a fit Harry Armstrong. Yeah, he'll make our side better once he's fit. Like his aggression at the ball, his ability to bring the ball to ground. Like if you want to compare Cozzy bringing ball to ground, just look at Harry's last game. You know, he brings that ball to ground, but then does his second and third effort to keep it going. So, and he's a tall, for heaven's sake. So, no, I'm happy with that. Alga, for me, I just thought that we're so long since we've had a win, and I wanted to protect the injuries. I wanted to give chance to the guys that have been injured to get that at least one game run.
Yeah.
So I thought leave it unchanged. And, because I reckon this game is a good game where we actually really solid chance to get a back-to-back win. Even over there.
If I had to pick one of my changes that I would renege on, it probably would be the Alga one. Like I wouldn't be against Sonzi staying in ahead of Alga just based on him getting a game in the VFL next week. But it'll be interesting to see what they do there. So
the good thing with Sonzi is if we're playing in WA, he loves that open ground. That's the type of ground that the wider ground allows him to utilise he gets a bit more space too. So he can utilise his kicking a lot. I saw some of the games he played. I remember a couple of games he's played when we've been over there, and he's played quite well. So we'll see.
It's going to be interesting with the Harry Armstrong piece, isn't it? Because like you said, in some ways, there will definitely be a large contingent of people who think he's being rushed. I mean, 15 weeks off, I wouldn't say is rushed, but I guess the questions that we will never know the answers to is, how far prior to this moment in time was he ready? Because we have been conservative with these guys. He looks in ripping nick, though. I know it's just a photo, but in the photo the club posted. And look, we just have to back him in, I guess, don't we? That they know what they're doing. And if he's fit and tick the boxes and he's going to give us more than Cozzy, then let's try it out and see how we go. But you mentioned the potential to win back-to-back games this week. I agree with you. I think this is a really good chance. My only concern is that West Coast are probably going to identify this as one of the very few games left in the year they might be able to win, and it could keep them alive for getting off the bottom of the ladder if they can pull some other shit out of their ass down the track. So how do you reckon the game's going to pan out, and how hot of a contest will it be from the Eagles?
I really hope that's the case. I really hope that because that's what we need. We want a team that goes, okay, we're about the same level of quality at the moment. Let's go head to head. So it's a free-flowing free-flowing offensive type game, and whoever gets the ascendancy, then it's up to the other team to try to chase and take over. So I hope it's a really good quality game. I hope, there's going to be turnovers, there's going to be mistakes, but it's played with a lot of energy, not like yesterday's game where it was like mega defense, dreary, slow, haphazard type of game. So, and it's going to be it's going to be a good education for our young kids. They've got another chance to beat a team that they believe they're just as good as, and they should win. I reckon the Essendon win is going to do a lot for them because Essendon's more fancied, and they knock them off. And, they'd have gone, well, they even went in with two behind the ball.
And West Coast probably won't do that.
No, they won't. They'll go at us. Yeah, they'll go at us. And West Coast is really vulnerable. I still can't believe why Harley Reed's getting a game this week. Sorry, I don't want to go off tangent, but he literally kicked the bloke.
It's not a tangent. It's fair enough. It's all about the game.
He literally kicked the bloke. It was a kick that tripped the bloke, but he went out to kick him, and he didn't get any weeks for it. Just a fine. All I would say to you, if that was Lynch that did the same action, what would have happened?
Well, remember, I don't know when the ruling changed, but I do distinctly remember that Dustin Fletcher got suspended for multiple weeks on various occasions for tripping. And I don't know where it changed at what point in time. I don't know why it would change. That kind of seems like it's fairly self-explanatory. But that leg out from Reed, it doesn't matter who it is. That's not a good look. It's not what you want to see.
No. When Swan takes over, he's got to do something about the MRO. The whole thing is just...
It's cooked.
Like that kid in the VFL, I think it was a Brisbane player, that the guy's on the ground and he hits him twice and kicks him when he's on the ground.
VFL?
And he didn't even get cited. Did not even get cited.
Took him a day to cite it because of social media outrage. Then he got 1 week.
And
1
again,
week for that. I'm like, imagine if that was one of our guys.
There should be a thing. There should be written in the rules before you pass the penalty. Just ask yourself the question: if it was Lynch that did the same action, what would be the penalty?
Yeah.
And whatever that penalty is, everyone gets it. Because if that was Lynch, he'd be game under disrepute, gone for the rest of the year. Oh God,
crazy. I do worry now with Harley Reed playing that he might be a bit fired up because Champion Data, bless them, actually come out with a stat that he is the lowest ranked footballer in the last 2 months. I don't know what the metrics are or how it all works, but that was the stat they come out with. So I'm guessing he'll be fairly pissed off by that and might be looking to put in a good game.
Well,
would you send
when you want,
you go.
Yeah, when you want to impress the side, you play really well. So I expect Harley Reed to have a really good
Is it
game.
an audition? Are we still saying this is another audition?
Yeah, look, I reckon my mate who I spoke to just literally, the reason I asked for the extension too was because I was on the phone with him before I managed to get Satan out of my house, which is my mother-in-law. He said to me, the reason it's gone really, really quiet, he said, you guys are right in it. That's all he said. You guys are still right in it. So, and he goes, watch him play super aggressive, everything that Uze likes, watch him display that on the weekend.
So he still reckons we're still in
I reckon
race.
we're still with a boxer's chance, yeah. The thing is what separates us from everyone else, we have the cap. People don't realise how much of a cap space we have.
It would be a lot, I say.
And we obviously know, like I haven't had the one guy that, not that I trust over the rest of my mates because they're watching, so they'll be upset. I trust them all equally. But the one that tends to be 100% right on the money, fairly wear out, I haven't had a chance to catch up with him. We're catching up with him next week. I haven't had an update from him, but everyone else that I know that generally know fairly solid info, they're all pretty, we're still in with a boxer's chance.
Is the alternate that he stays? Is that the other?
Yeah, it's either I reckon, like I think I said that the last thing that they told me was the last time we ever did this. It's either he stays or he goes to us. That's how sort of they were feeling. That's how it will turn. When Essendon was thrown on, Essendon was not in the picture. So that's their feeling still that, it's us or he stays. And if he stays, it'll be like for 2 years.
So do you want him as a Richmond supporter?
100%. You're a dickhead if you, sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful to family, but you're a dickhead if you don't want him, right?
He's not showing some Richmond qualities, though, is he? Like Richmond traits at the moment.
But he's copying it. Look, I'm not defending him. I don't know him from pig and shit, right? So, but his ceiling is super, super high. He's an explosive midfielder with pace. Put him on one side of the midfield box, and then you got Lawler on the other side, Then you got Hotton on the other corner, and then let's say when we get to see Smiley, who I rate really highly, on the other, we've got a midfield that's so dynamic that each corner is a weapon. No other team really has that. They have 1, 2, or 3. We've never had it. Where you had genuine A-grade superstar weapons, all 4 of them. That doesn't just build you finals. That wins you flags.
Yeah, I remember the words that Grock used in relation to how the club feel about this, according to his sources, that it turns it into a generational midfield.
It does. And our club's fully cognizant to that. We've sold the message to that. What's great, the young kids are re-signing, which is really, really good. And I expect that to continue going on.
Seth Campbell signing the 2029. How good was that? That's
great. Yeah. And I'm just hoping Banks and Brown do the same thing because they're the risk is not Brown, but Banks is Tasmanian. But they all love it. You see them, they're all having a blast. I'm not bullish, but see that midfield makes it and they're all the same, similar ages, obviously a little bit older, but not by that many years.
Yeah.
So it'd be great. It'd be great.
It would be. And there's obviously a lot to play out, and the alternative is we go to the draft.
Oh, did he really? RFC, fantastic. Yeah, that's even a great. Banks did re-sign. Yeah, great. So, yeah, no, that's fantastic.
So if, let's say, Reed chooses to stay, for example, do you think, you don't have to say names, just a gut feel, whatever, but do you think there's other players in play? Are we still looking to trade a pick,
we're getting
use both picks? What are we doing?
We'll be getting a premium midfielder in.
You reckon we'll be definitely bringing in a player?
100%. In Blair Hartley, I trust. I got told this ages ago that we're aiming for the cream de la creme, but we do have a really solid B and C. So, yeah, no. One thing I've noticed with all the stuff that I tend to hear, we never go into a trade period without a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. We're two.
Yeah.
So all I know is that we do value this draft as a compromise draft. It is quite compromised with the academies and the trades that have been done and all that sort of stuff. There is quality in this draft, but it's not as strong as last year.
It's definitely not. And this is why I keep changing my mind on if I want the picks or if I want to trade it for a player. I think if we could keep one pick and trade one in the future, I'd be open to that.
Yeah.
So
I reckon it's
something youth coming through.
I wouldn't be surprised if we try to keep our first two picks, which say 3 and 4, or trade 4 and bundle it up with either our first for next year, and then say to West Coast, here's a couple of our second rounder and our third rounder, whatever, something like that. Or give them 2 and 3 and 4, and they give us their first round. They give us one of their first rounders.
It'll take some creativity because we do need some points next year as well for NGA prospects. Right. We've got Tanner Armstrong, we've got Archie Daffy, Jack Leese. Maybe so Walker's next year's Skudoosh. I'm still very bullish on this Walker scenario. Carlton is self-imploding before our very eyes, and
I did you a favour.
Doing that any good.
I did you a favour, right? I did you a favour. I actually asked, have you heard anything about Walker? Because you always bring him up. And he goes, look, he said his dad will drive him to go to Carlton, but he said from what we've heard about the kid, he has his own mind. He said, he goes, it wouldn't shock me if he nominated Richmond, but he still thinks he will go to Carlton. So,
yeah, the father-son pool will probably be strong in the end. But it's definitely not over. The club don't think that either. So hopefully they keep having a crack. And if Voss, we need Voss to stay another year. We need this to keep unraveling is what we need.
We need Voss to stay. We need Brad Scott to stay.
Brad Scott. Didn't they just re-sign him not long ago? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, so good. So good. Essendon is so shit. So shit. Yeah.
But big game this week. Any other thoughts on the matchups? I mean, how do we... We can't play worse than last week, right? I mean, I know a lot of that was driven by the opponent, and I just cannot see that happening again this week. How do you think we will go in a shootout, in a slingshot, ball picking up the ground type game if that's how it goes against West Coast? Do we have the execution and the skill currently to be able to compete at doing that?
Well, there's two things. There's two parts to that. The first part is we're going to be starting the game -4 goals, right? Let's just get that true. Mark my words. I'll prophesize. -4 goals.
Is this due to
because the umpires?
The
umpires will give them 4 goals. I guarantee you, it's going to happen. So we'll start this. So are we a -4 goal better side than the Eagles? I believe at this stage. I'm not saying it will be in the future. McQualter is a better coach than Uze in tactical sense, right? In my opinion, because I've had a bit of a look at a couple of the Eagles games. And even though they've lost, they do structure up quite well and they do have a fairly good system. But
their first half last week against Port was really good.
It was brilliant. And they've shown real good form. And obviously it takes a while for a game plan to kick in and all that. And McQualter, and he also had all the baggage of the old blokes playing and, he's now got him to where he wants them to play. So if any West Coast supporters is, I'm actually quite bullish that if they trade well, they might be able to bounce back earlier than if they don't, then McQualter's going to get sacked in 3 years because, they'll improve, but it'd be like Simpson. But because at least I don't believe he's that good quality, or balance, I should say. But in saying that, Uze's starting to turn me around. The last month, I have seen a bit more dare from him. It's actually coincided to him going on the bench.
I really like that move from him.
Yeah, so I don't know because he's in the bench. It's Carousella or Hotton or whoever's up top actually doing the tactical stuff, and he's doing more the more of the, immediate feedback, and that's his strength, right? That's his strength. So, and we have shown that we're starting to become a better side because of it. So, no, I still think we're a 4-goal better side than West Coast.
It'd be huge, wouldn't it? If you think about it, at the start of the year, look, I think we have to be honest. Even Richmond supporters were worried that we wouldn't win a game, far be it 4. So the fact that there's another back-to-back chance on the table that's somewhat realistic, and if we happen to pull it off, it would be quite remarkable in a lot of ways, especially over in Perth.
Could you imagine this? We potentially could finish the year on 6 wins.
Well, who else?
Well, yeah. So we've just got to win one more game at the last run if we get over West Coast.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough run.
You
St
never
Kilda
know.
would maybe be the only one, but they've typically had a measure for a while.
Potentially. But we could. You never know. Potentially.
And this is where those losses to GWS and Kangaroos and even the Essendon game earlier in the year, they're the ones that end up hurting a bit. But it's good learning. And North Melbourne, we do have North down in Tasmania.
Yeah, we have North. So if you knock off West Coast and North, we've won 6 games.
That'll be all right. We'll take that.
Not even in a million years, you wouldn't believe we'd win 6 games.
Even 4 wins, you wouldn't believe that we would have had.
No. So credit to the coaches, right? But that's obviously the back of the talent that we've got, right? That's why I don't underestimate the draft that we have. But again, like I've always said, we're blessed because we have Loston, we have Broad, we have a fairly Short. Short had a good game on the weekend.
What did you make of him playing? Him as in Short playing alongside Sam Banks? I really liked the 1-2 punch.
I liked it. We missed Rioli's run. That explosive run right down the guts. We missed that. And I don't think Banks, I'm wrapped we've got Banks, but I don't think Banks has that in him. That explosive, he doesn't have that speed.
I've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah, but what I mean is it's not the Rioli, put the ball under the arm and he literally burn off anyone that comes close to him. He doesn't, he has speed, but he doesn't have that explosive speed. But in saying that, both of the boys are quick when they put their head down.
Yeah.
So really, I reckon by pairing him with Short, it's going to show Banks, this is when you move up the ground. This is when you become, a mark inside your forward 50 by pushing up. This is how you aggressively run. And that's going to be great for his education. So hopefully it continues.
And what I love is that even with Short coming back in, that Banks didn't then go back into his shell and stop being attacking. Yeah. I loved that they were both attacking. So they both got a goal each as well, which I loved, both the halfbacks coming in. And we're going to need that, right? We're going to need other avenues to score. And if they can both kick some long-range goals, I think
Banks is having a brilliant year, but the other boy he's going to be, he'll never get nominated like in an All-Australian because he's like a Vlosten for me. He's he's not underrated, but he's just does his job. People don't really see it unless he does something amazing. Is Brown. Every time I see him play, he's a pleasure to watch. His kicking is the best. I cannot remember a player, even in our heyday, that he's had his ability to hit a target by foot. Some of his under pressure in the back line, he's under extreme. He did a check side pass that hits a player on the tip.
It was a good part. He had some shit kicks earlier on in the game, but I love that he didn't lose confidence.
Yeah, I love that he still goes for those, but he goes for them, and he hits them 90% of the time.
He'll hit them more and more as he keeps trying it. But, there was that kick to Hotton, and then there was a left foot kick across the face of goal that went to Trezise. Both of them ballsy kicks in the situation of the game. I'm glad he had a crack at it because it came off, and it definitely helped at that point in time.
That's right.
I'm really liking where Tom Brown's heading. A few people asked us quickly. It's a good one to get your thoughts on. I'm not sure if you've seen it or not in the media, but it's come out that Tasmania have approached or are asking if Richmond to play 2 years. I think it's 2 home games in Tasmania over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I'm happy with it. A couple of reasons why. The money goes to us. We're not feeding the AFL coffers by playing on the AFL shitty ground. And because I've actually gone to start hating the AFL, how compromised it is. What I mean, AFL house, when I say AFL. And also, we've got a lot of Tasmanians have filtered through our list throughout our journey, right? So this is a good way to give them, we're going to have some of our kids be able to play in front of their family. which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's not that far of a flight. Gives them a good chance to travel. We travel together really well. It gives them to help with the bonding and all that sort of stuff. I'm all for it. I'm 100%
I'm all for it
it.
too, for a couple of reasons. And people very quickly, and rightfully, I can understand it, compared the Cairns experiment that was a clusterfuck. But the Cairns one at that moment in time, that actually did compromise our chance to play finals, which we don't want. The next 2 years of our football isn't going to be compromised by us playing in Tassie. Like, we're not going to be finals chances in the next 2 years. So I'm okay on that front. As long as it doesn't take away from an MCG game would be my only other thing.
Yeah.
The other kicker is the money we make from it. Like, we've obviously all just learned that the punt road development's costing a shitload that we haven't fully funded. So playing 2 years in Tassie is going to go a long way into completing the build. Tassie's, and we've got quite an array of players from Tassie, like you said, Richo from Tassie as well. And we do family day stuff and grassroots stuff really well as a club, and it would be nice for them to be able to go back home and do something there. And I just don't think it's going to hurt us as a football club result-wise. And I don't really see too many negatives from it, to be honest. Look, as long as it's not losing a G game, that's my only thing.
Yeah, people read on us with, what are we, a North Melbourne club that, we're struggling, we need it. No, we're not selling any games, right? This is us. If they say to us, all right, 2 Metricon games, you can go to Tassie, that's the only way I'll take the deal. No MCG game. It has to be. And I want to keep going to WA and going to Adelaide because they've got to keep on doing that because that's what we do every year. But if it's Metricon, no problem. Reason why it grows the club. So you're going to get more Tassie supporters. We've got a huge supporter base in Tassie.
We do, yeah.
So it gives them something. You support the club from afar. Here you go. You get to see them twice a year. I would happily say they can do it. I would happily do it for 5 years, 6 years, for as long as they want to do it. Because we could make that area our fortress, like the Hawks did.
There you go. So Carl Toomey said we would earn about triple what we get paid for playing at Marvel. There you go. For the sake of 2 years, when we need to fund the rest of the build, because I'm guessing that we're all not going to buy another 10 bricks each.
That's right.
Then it's financially and from a club perspective, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
It's not going to impact our finals ability or anything like that. If anything, I think it might actually be a benefit for the young kids to do a few things like that. So
and you can't discontinue all the new members we will get because of it. The
other caveat that people had as well, which was a good call too, is if we're to do it, I would want to be ensuring that it's not games against Hawthorn or Kangaroos. You want it to be against your Gold Coast, your Adelaide, like actual other clubs, so it's not the clubs that are already used to it.
It'd be awesome to play Adelaide and Port in Tassie.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great? That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So there we go. So that's what we'll do. I actually put out a link to get a heap of voicemail messages on this. So thanks to everyone who sent those through. I'm going to put together a video shortly on that. It's good to hear everyone's thoughts. So I guess Heels, the players that we would be worried about have already committed. So Seth Campbell re-signed for 2029. Sam Banks recommitted earlier in the year. I'm not sure if Nankervis is at the end of his career, so whatever happens. I'm not sure is there another young one? I'm not too sure. But the ones that you would want to already commit have already put pen to paper, it's not so much of an issue. And they've already said that they love Taz, but they don't want to play there full time. But to go back twice a year.
Yeah, playing twice a year is not playing there every game and living in Tasmania. Look, I love Tasmania. It's a beautiful place, but would I live there full time? No. No,
exactly right. So I think it's a no-brainer. But Mansell. There's John. Thank you, Seb. Mansell. I'm not sure what Mansell, what his status is on contracts, but I'm pretty sure I've seen him say a few times that he's not going anywhere. Obviously, you want to see that eventuate. Interesting discussion. I can definitely understand both sides of the coin with people not wanting to do that and people who are okay with it, but it's a good discussion nonetheless. But Tiggs, before we go, what's your tip, including margin for this game? Chuck them in chat as well, folks, and we'll pop them up on screen.
Yeah. Oh God, because our forwards never kick goals. That's the thing.
That's the thing. But I think we can stop them from scoring, but how do we score?
If it's open flowing and we start to convert, and I'm factoring the 4 goals that they'll get for nothing, we'll win by around about, I reckon, 9 points, 12 points.
We'll take that. We'll definitely take that.
Yeah, Brandon, I'm with you, mate. You say 11. Yeah, that's good.
Peter, I'll enter this quickly. So, yeah, Steely did kick another 3 in the VFL. He's doing well. I probably want to see him do it
one more time.
Not necessarily, doesn't have to be 3, but another good game. For me, it was more about the 6 tackles. I was actually probably more impressed with. But it is good that he's getting confidence back and hitting the scoreboard at VFL level, because he wasn't hitting the scoreboard at AFL level, but neither were a lot of our forwards. So it's it's a tricky one. I like this. Tigers get by 3 goals and Taj to kick the sealer. Very good.
The only thing I nearly did with, now you guys are going to yell at me, so I won't say the I word, but I was thinking maybe rest Taj for this game. Because if there's any ground that you're gonna do a knee, it's this ground. I hope I'm fucking not wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Oh God, I hope I'm wrong. Because that's where they hard, like concrete. It's concrete under the soil. I hope we're okay.
It's no Beaconsfield. But
yeah.
The ground's a shithole. Anyway, thank you for jumping on tonight, Tiggs. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Everybody in chat for jumping on for your time. I want to give a shout out to my wife quickly, who made this awesome background that we've got tonight. It looks so good, much better than the shit that I put together. She did a good job. I'm not sure if she's still watching. But,
if she is watching, can you please smack your husband on the back of the head and get him to change the uni picture? Can you do it by Wednesday? Thank you. And I'll buy chocolate. If you do
I have asked her to update the intro for me.
Please.
Have a wonderful night, everybody. Tomorrow night we've got Behind Frenemy Line, so make sure you tune in for that. I think we might try and do a live on Saturday, potentially if times and everything align.
I'll see if I can get into that. If you're happy with that,
No, I'll work out a time.
I don't know how long I can go because of this thing. If it's in real time, but I'll be interested to see how I've improved, or if I've improved. So
that's right. I'll send the link here. You just jump in and out whenever you need. That's fine. Have a wonderful night, everybody. And until next week, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.